What is up, you freaky folks? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things horror, whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's night number 6 in my 13 nights of Halloween special. I can't believe it's night number 6 already, but I hope you're all having a great spooky season, and I hope these videos are helping you get into the holiday spirit. I'm so excited to talk about this movie, you guys, because I've been recommending it for months, and now I have the chance to get into it in full detail. So here's your warning now. This video will contain spoilers. The House of the Devil is a throwback to 80s horror from director Ty West. Samantha is a college student looking to get out of the dorms, but she'll have to make some quick cash if she wants to snag her dream home. She takes a job as a babysitter, but after arriving at a creepy house in the middle of the woods on the night of a lunar eclipse, Samantha learns she is in for much more than she bargained for. I wanted to talk about The House of the Devil because this is one of my favorite slow burn films. The first time I saw it, I actually really didn't care for it. I thought it was too slow, and I thought the ending was such a big downer. But the vibe and mood of this movie stuck with me, and I found myself rewatching it and falling in love with it because this movie makes suspense so entertaining. Jocelyn Donahue plays Samantha, and while she isn't giving a mind-blowing performance, she is so watchable and likable. The whole movie rides on her natural charm, and the plot of this movie really clicks into place. In those early scenes where we see her set up the job and hang out with her friend, we're really drawn into this character, which keeps us on board once things get threatening. It would be so easy to just be like, this dumbass needs to get the hell out of this creepy house, but I'm totally on board with her. I mean, come on, no one wants to live in the dorms. So Sam gets a ride to the house from her best friend Megan, played by the excellent Greta Gerwig, and when she gets there, she learns that she isn't tasked with looking after a child, but an old lady, and she's hesitant at first, but the old dude running things offers her $400 for like 4 hours of old lady sitting, and I'm realizing in this moment I could probably easily get murdered for $400. But Megan is all upset and she tries to get Samantha to leave, but Samantha's all, girl, let me get this bag. So Megan agrees to leave and come pick her up later. But then Megan stops off to smoke a cigarette, and this is where we get maybe my favorite jump scare in all of the horror movies, because this hobo dude comes out of nowhere, and after a brief exchange, he just shoots her right in the face. It is so shocking and horrifying. The loss of Greta Gerwig in this movie is actually quite earth-shattering, but it's a really good setup because if anything, you're thinking, oh, there's a killer on the loose and he's gonna come to Samantha in the house next. That's very 80s. But we know there is something much bigger going on here. So much of this middle portion of the film is just Samantha hanging out in this murder mystery author house that I would totally live in, but it never feels boring. Ty West makes such a simple yet effective use of sound in this movie. It is so quiet for the first 2/3, and then the music becomes more present and it gets louder and louder until it just explodes at the end. And I don't love exactly how much it explodes at the end. I know it's supposed to be intentionally jarring, but it's a little too much at times, just a little too much. But on this last rewatch, it just really hit me how sound was used to build the atmosphere in this movie, and it works so well. It's about an hour into the runtime that we see one of the upstairs bedrooms is hiding a bunch of dead bodies, and we see them, but Samantha doesn't, and it's another solid reveal that continues to ratchet up the tension. Of course, they poison her ass with pizza and she's knocked out, but when she wakes up, she finds herself in the attic with a group of cult members performing a creepy ritual on her. It's a satanic panic movie, yes! While I often love when horror movies go off the rails towards the end, in this one, it kinda really does feel like it goes off the rails. Like, I don't buy that the cult members would put Megan's dead body in the kitchen. I think that was just an excuse for Samantha to end up covered in blood. And also, while I like that she fights back against her attackers, I always like that, I feel like we're missing a little bit of a transition there. I mean, we don't need it, but she really quickly goes from Jill in When a Stranger Calls to Sydney in Scream. It's actually funny because I wasn't planning this, but I actually watched the remake of When a Stranger Calls and then The House of the Devil back to back. Wasn't planning it, but it's funny, when I was watching When a Stranger Calls, I was like, yeah, this was just a mistake. That should just be a short. That's just not a feature-length concept. And then I'm like, wait, no, that was just the bad one. The House of the Devil knows how to do it right. It is the anti-When a Stranger Calls. And I have to talk about the stylization of this movie because it's meant to look like an old VHS tape, and I think it creates a solid aesthetic without feeling gimmicky. This was done long before the 80s aesthetic was played out. It was done long before Stranger Things and even Drive, so I gotta give it credit for doing the thing before it was a thing. The House of the Devil is an atmospheric creep fest that relies on old school tactics to deliver classic thrills. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I initially logged it on Letterboxd as a 4.5 out of 5, but I feel like I just have some problems with the ending and the overall lack of character development. What did you guys think of The House of the Devil? It is currently streaming on Shudder and Amazon Prime if you are looking to rewatch it. I hope you've already watched it because I just spoiled it, and it's a movie I try really hard not to spoil. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you so much if you have watched my other 13 Nights of Halloween videos. I greatly appreciate it. I just wanted to do something fun this year. I tried it last year, and I was not very good at making any kind of video back then. So tomorrow we're going back in time with some actual 80s horror, so stay tuned. But until then, feel free to follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any creepy content. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.